All right, let's set the scene. Julius Caesar, pretty much the most powerful man on the planet, is lying dead, assassinated. The city of Rome is a powder keg, just waiting for a spark. The people, they're confused, they're angry, and they're right on the edge of a full-blown riot. And into this absolute chaos, two men are about to step forward to try and control the story, and by doing that, control Rome itself. And that really gets us to the core question here. When everything is falling apart, how do you actually win over the people? What we're about to see is one of the most brilliant, most brutal rhetorical showdowns in history. It's a masterclass in persuasion, with the fate of an entire empire just hanging in the balance. So, imagine the marketplace. It's pure chaos. People are yelling, shoving, they want answers. And into this frenzy steps one of the main conspirators, the nobleman Marcus Brutus. He absolutely knows that he has to justify this assassination to this incredibly volatile mob, or he and his friends are dead. Simple as that. So, what's Brutus's game plan? Well, he doesn't try to stir them up even more. He does the exact opposite. He appeals to their logic, to their reason, to their sense of honor as Romans. He's betting that a calm, rational argument is what's going to win the day. Let's see how that plays out for him. And here's his argument in a nutshell. He boils the entire thing down to a very simple, very stark choice. He basically asks them, look, would you rather have Caesar alive and be slaves, or Caesar dead and be free? He's framing this not as a murder, but as a necessary choice between slavery and freedom. It's a really powerful, logical trap. This line right here, it's the absolute core of his defense. He's saying, I'm not some cold-blooded killer, I'm a patriot. He claims he loves Caesar, sure, but his love for Rome was just greater. He's trying to position this whole thing as a painful sacrifice that he, the hero, had to make for the good of the country. And this is his checkmate move. Or at least, that's what he thinks. He throws this question out to the crowd. He's essentially asking, is anyone here a traitor? I mean, who's going to raise their hand to that? By framing it this way, he makes it impossible to disagree with him without looking like an enemy of Rome. It's a super clever rhetorical trap. And you know what? At first, it totally works. The crowd is completely on his side. They're shouting, "Live, Brutus, live." And then, in this moment of incredible irony, someone yells, "Let him be Caesar." Think about that. They've bought his logic so completely that they want to give him the very same power he just killed Caesar for. For a hot second there, Brutus is king of the world. But then, the challenger enters the arena. Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal right-hand man, shows up, and he's brought Caesar's body with him. And Brutus, in what is just a massive, fatal miscalculation, lets him speak. Antony knows he can't beat Brutus with logic, so he's going to use a much, much more powerful weapon, emotion. Antony's opening line is just pure genius. He gets up there and says, "Hey, I'm not here to praise Caesar." This immediately makes the crowd, and more importantly, the conspirators, lower their guard. He sounds like he's just there to do his duty, no ulterior motives. It is a masterful piece of misdirection. And this brings us to the key weapon in Antony's arsenal, this single phrase. He's going to say it over and over and over again. Brutus is an honorable man. Now, on the surface, it sounds like he agrees with them, right? But with every single repetition, he's going to inject that word honorable with so much sarcasm, so much doubt, that it becomes an accusation. See, Antony doesn't just make vague statements. He brings receipts. He reminds the crowd of specifics. Remember when Caesar filled the city's coffers with ransom money? Remember when he literally wept with the poor? And the big one, remember when you all saw him refuse the crown 3 times? Every single one of these points is a direct shot at Brutus's claim that Caesar was ambitious. And here's the kill shot. After every piece of evidence, he drops his little refrain. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and of course Brutus is an honorable man. You can just feel the word honorable twisting from a compliment into a nasty insult. He's not telling the crowd Brutus is a liar. He's letting them get there all on their own. It's brilliant. So after planting all these seeds of doubt, Antony switches gears from logic to raw emotion. He just stops his speech, completely overcome with grief. He claims his heart is in the coffin with Caesar. And this performance, wow, it's incredibly effective. It makes his grief feel so real, so personal, and it invites the crowd to share his pain. And they do. They start whispering about how sad he looks. Anthony can feel it. The tide is turning. So now it's time to stop with the subtle hints and move to overwhelming physical proof. He's got 2 secret weapons left, and he's about to use them to make this murder feel personal and completely unforgivable. His first weapon looks like just a piece of parchment. It's Caesar's will. But he doesn't read it. Not yet. He's too smart for that. He just mentions it. He tells the crowd that if they only knew what was in this will, if they knew how much Caesar loved them, they'd go crazy. He's teasing them, whipping them into a frenzy to hear what's inside. And now for the main event. This is the point of no return. Antony gets the crowd to make a circle around Caesar's body. He holds up the bloody cloak, and he starts pointing out the stab wounds, naming names. Look, this is where Cassius's dagger went. And through this one, the well-loved Brutus stabbed. Then, for the final, gruesome reveal, he rips the cloak away and shows them the body. He turns a political argument into a bloody, gut-wrenching spectacle. The reaction is instantaneous, and it's exactly what Anthony wanted. All that sadness turns to shock, and the shock turns to pure, white-hot rage. The crowd's cries literally change from "Poor Caesar" to "Revenge, kill, burn, murder." A crowd has just become a mob. Antony's visual proof just blew Brutus's logic to pieces. So now the crowd is a weapon, primed and aimed. They're screaming for blood. Antony just has to give them their final motivation, that last piece of the puzzle that will doom the conspirators and light the fuse on a civil war. He finally reads the will. And what's inside? A personal gift. To every single Roman citizen, Caesar left 75 drachmas. Now, this isn't politics anymore, is it? This is personal. Caesar wasn't some tyrant, he was their benefactor. Brutus didn't just kill a leader, he killed the guy who was about to give them all money. And that's not all. Caesar also left all of his private parks and gardens to the people of Rome, as public spaces, forever. Antony lets that sink in, then drives the point home. Here was a Caesar, when comes such another? And the mob screams back the answer, never. Their hero has been murdered, and now they are going to get revenge. As the mob goes wild, carrying Caesar's body off to burn down the traitors' houses, Antony just stands there, alone. He watches them go and says, "Now let it work. Mischief thou art afoot." And in that one chilling line, you see his real plan. This was never just about honoring Caesar. It was about unleashing total chaos and seizing power for himself. And the fallout is immediate and total. A servant runs up to Antony and tells him that Brutus and Cassius, they've already fled the city, like madmen. They heard the mob coming for them, the mob they could no longer control. The battle of words is over. Antony won. Brutus's cold logic didn't stand a chance against Antony's wildfire of emotion. Which leaves us with one last big question. You have Brutus, a man who acted on what he thought were noble ideals, on logic, and it led to total disaster. Then you have Antony, who acted out of calculated rage and manipulated a crowd's feelings to start a civil war. So who's really more dangerous? The person who is absolutely certain their cold logic is right, or the one who knows exactly how to harness the fire of human emotion?